What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing well today. We're back on some Trackdayr, and it feels like clockwork at this point, where they update every 1 to 2 months. I think it's been about a month and a half since the last major update, and in this one we have got 2 main points that I'm going to be looking at. We have got, as you can see on screen, this is what happens when you load the game. They have got new whip and air physics, which is something that really happy to see. I just like to have a bit more movement and a bit more freedom in the air to move the bike about. And then if I press next, will it show that? Yes, there we go. So we've got brand new pit bikes as well, kind of reworked from the ground up, which I think will be really, really exciting. So what I'm going to do first of all is I think we're just going to hop on the pit bikes first, since it's something brand new. And then those of you that are a bit more invested into Trackdayr in general can hang around for the later bit where I go onto the normal bikes and practice my whips and stuff. But then also, finally, we've got new custom spawn points as well. So you haven't got to always just keep going back to the pits over and over and over again. You can choose where you want to spawn on the track, then respawn there, similar to how like MX Simulator and MX Bikes has it as well. So then we can close that. And those are our updates. I mean, this is the last thing I've done in this game, was recording damn TikToks wheeling a whatever enduro type trial bike this is. So I am going to quickly customize my character, get on the right bike, and then I will join you on the track. So just because it's been Loretta's over the course of the last week, I thought, why not do a little bit of Loretta's in game as well? So if we just press start here, if I press pause, here we go. So you can set respawn straight away. So here, and then if I was to do restart, I now spawn in that place as well. So if I move forwards to do exactly the same thing, set respawn, restart, it does. Lovely. So that works nicely. There's something so funny about you not having to wear pants on this game that I'm sorry, I just had to do it again. So, and my cheeks are so damn shiny. Holy, they are, as Rihanna would say, shine bright like a diamond. The game sounds very, very quiet. Like incredibly quiet, and I don't know if that's my end. I mean, my headset's turned up. Let me see if I can increase the volume in game as well. Ah, no. That is one thing I would like to see updated in the future, is having the option to change your options whilst in game. That would be a big old W. And so this game, it's gone through various iterations of how the bike turns, handles, jumps, etc. So I do have to find myself getting used to it again each and every time. So a lot of it nowadays is you kind of initiate your lean with the left stick and the right stick the same way, and then you kind of just rely on the left stick for the rest of the corner, I believe. I mean, I'm up on the pegs right now. I'm actually moving around the track. Oh. Wait, did I just change? Just make sure. Yeah, I did change all of my keybinds. Okay, we're absolutely fine. So for a more realistic sense, the bike is actually the speed of a pit bike. It's not like when you get mods on MX bikes these days, when people make and they release 85cc bikes that are as fast as 125, sometimes even faster. So there's a little bit more realism to it. How do I get back into this? Oh, there we go. Get back into first person. That was a little bit of a jump scare. That was quite cool. No, I vibe with this. I'm vibing with it. Okay, let's get up on the pegs as well. Try and soak up some of these bumps. Get the leg animation out. I don't think there's been any changes recently to the first person camera, or it might just be this bike, but the first person camera feels very like a lot more stable than it used to. I feel like everything used to like wiggle about a lot more. You still have the wind affecting the sleeves here and there, which isn't too bad, but for the most part it's a-okay. What I will say is where this game, like graphic wise, is on a much more modern engine than like MX Bikes or MX Simulator is. Like you can see, like, there's no reshade or anything like this. What you're looking at right now is exactly what I'm looking at with the lens flares, etc. It actually makes it a bit more difficult to see, because in real life, where I've got light coming through my window, I've got a bit of like screen glare of my own. So I'd probably have to at some point see if you can go in and disable the lens flares and stuff, just to increase fidelity, which is it's been a bit of a talking point on bikes as well at the moment, with people intentionally running lower graphic settings to be able to see the track easier for racing. But I mean, it's like, whilst we do try and simulate real life, we don't want to have all the hardships that come with real life, do we? We don't have to deal with like the sun glaring our eyes and not being able to see ruts on the face of jumps. But that's just my personal opinion. This bike actually handles really, really nicely. I don't know if there's a road version of it, or if it's just motocross stuff only. I'll be honest, I didn't go as far as checking that. But in terms of motocross tracks, no new motocross tracks in this update. There's a new road bike one, which I imagine those boys will be quite happy with, because I do feel, as of late, even over the last like full year to be honest, majority of the updates have come to the motocross side of things, but I think that's just because they've got such a solid base on the road bike stuff already. There hasn't been like a major need to overhaul anything, and it is nice being able to load up a single game and go and do so many different disciplines at once. I suppose the only issue you have when you do that is instead of doing like one thing perfectly, you spread out a whole different bunch of things at the same time, and they might not all be perfect. But again, I keep saying, with time, I think the game's just going to get better and better and better. And it sounds like the devs are like actively asking for my opinions and stuff, because I think they see that I don't play the game as much as I used to anymore, and they're asking for like reasons why, etc. And I just said, in terms of like bike feel and how the game flows and how it, like, as a person playing, like me holding this controller right now, how connected I feel in the game compared to like how much I feel like I'm inputting compared to how much the game is inputting for me, or having like extra forces applied to make the bike do certain things. I felt like the game was in its best place, like it might have been maybe 2 years ago, because there's a video with me and Rum on the Deegan compound just messing around, where everything felt like really, really free. The bikes turned super sharp, everything was really smooth and flowy, and I feel like it almost went downhill a little bit since then, just because of all the like forces being put into the bike, forcing the bike to do what you didn't want it to do, and they actually seem to listen to that and take the time and are going to go and change things because of it, which is just very unique these days. You don't get too many like the game developers reaching out to people and in that manner and asking what they can do to make the game better. So it is really, really refreshing to see, and I'll always have respect for the team. Even let's say another 2 years or so down the line of this game, even if it turns into something I don't personally like enjoy on a day-to-day basis, it's always going to be something that I have respect for in the way that they've approached things and how they've done it in general. So you've got to tip your hats off to them. They do work very, very hard. That inside was sick. Have they... I don't know if they've updated the Retters. Not in this update, but it's just been quite a few updates since I've played the Retters itself. But it feels... just feels different. It feels like the track has changed slightly. But I'm here for it. It feels very, very nice. I mean, the bike, have I crashed yet, actually? I don't think I've crashed yet. I wonder if they've made the like the terms for crashing the bike less strict. Because a lot of the time you'd have it where if you landed a little bit like nose heavy, you'd crash pretty quickly. If you landed with your back wheel stepped out a little bit too much, you'd instantly fall to the ground. Whereas now it seems if I land a little bit sketch, as long as I'm on the throttle and kind of like trying to point the front wheel in the right direction, I'm not having any issues. That might be this particular bike. It might be across all bikes. You'll notice that if I kind of get up on the back wheel over a lot of these bumps, and if I'm coming up short on doubles as well, if you land front wheel higher, it does like soak up the jump a hell of a lot. So it does give me Monster Energy Supercross vibes in that respect. Just where like, if you lean back and power through stuff, you'll make it through most of the time. There's a huge speed difference when you're doing it. Like you feel like you go a lot faster when you're laying off the back of the bike. Can we get slid in this inside rut? Almost. I feel like I don't know if I'm just having a good Trackdayr day today, or if they have reworked ground physics as well. But I feel like I'm sitting in ruts a lot easier than I used to too. So there you go. There's the pit bike. Actually, really, really enjoyable, to be fair. I was going into that a little bit blind and deaf because my audio is really, really low. I'm going to go back to the pits. I'm going to select just a normal bike, like a 250 or something, and I'm going to take it to the Deegan compound because that's kind of like my... What do you call it? Like, that's like the middle ground where I know how the bike rides and how it should feel. Right, here we go. Okay, this bike's a little bit louder. Maybe it's just maybe that one bike that I rode that's a bit on the quiet side. So we are rocking. Look, there's a lot of backfire coming out of this machine. Jesus. We are riding. Oh my god. Don't know how to survive that. Yeah, we are riding for the third time, sorry, the Suzuki 254 stroke today. So we're going to see how this rides overall. Let me go into... Actually, no, I'll do a lap in third person, and then I'll switch through to first person afterwards. So I just need to learn what the bike wants for me at the beginning. How's this going to work these days? There we go. Right, so the ride's up. Is it still normal? Yeah, it's still quite like a slow reaction, and I'd love there to be a sprint button to be able to run over to the bike faster and pick the bike up, hop on it. The whole process does get quite long. I mean, you are penalised for crashing, which I imagine on an online racing scenario would actually be quite good, because then you're not going to be risking big sends all the time. The sun is... I don't remember the sun ever being this bright. Oh, there we go. I can see my rider now. It's like the back of your rider just goes completely like black. Like there's no level of detail to it anymore where the sun and the contrast is shining so much. So I'm just trying to work out what the game wants. If it wants me to stand up and lean both ways on takeoff, stand up, turn the bike one way, lean the rider the opposite way, sit down, do the same thing, etc. Just trying to work out what it wants for me to get the bike whipping the way that I want to whip it. And I imagine that most of it is probably done on takeoff anyway. We'll see how much is just left stick and how much is right stick, or maybe it's just like right stick only. That's what I'm saying. A lot of this is all... Oh, okay, that felt quicker. So that was stood up, leaning both ways at the same time. See if I can do that again. Try and get over this double, get a bit of speed for a jump so I'm not going 2 miles an hour. Okay, yeah, so both sticks stood up, same direction. You definitely have to do it before you take off. So it seems like a lot of it is pre-jump. Which makes sense. I mean, people don't... I suppose there's a difference between a whip and a scrub, isn't it? I mean, scrubbing, you're doing it on the takeoff. Whip is basically as you're leaving the ground, you get it cranked over. So it depends what end result you want out of it. Get that cranked. Yeah. One thing I will say, that was a very, very odd crash. I'll be honest. I'm not sure how that's happened. But one thing it does feel like is the bike returns back to center, like much better than it did before. Like I had it in the past where you'd get a whip out, and on the way out the whip looked really nice, but on the way back it didn't come back round exactly to where you wanted to. It feels like that's been fixed a little bit now to where it does come back into the middle. Let's go back in first person. You feel so quick in first person on this game. I think I must have like a slightly higher FOV than I do on other ones, but yeah, yeet. Oh, look how bright that is. The sun is absolutely beaming down on me. I mean, it probably looks great for screenshots, but for a riding perspective, it is a little bit much. I do need to go and turn it off at some point. I'm sure they're all toggleable options, but again, would be nice to have that option in game. Maybe you want it on some tracks, not on the others. You don't have to keep going back to the menu all the time. Yeah, first person just feels so much nicer than third. Really, really does. I can't explain why. It just I feel like more in it, you know. I feel like I can read what the back tyre is doing a bit more, because there's a lot of tyre slip on this game, so a lot of wheel spin. So if you do try and get on the throttle too hard, then you will be penalised for it. Basically, you won't be moving forwards as such, which nobody wants. And basically, what I was saying earlier about where you have to set up the turn with both sticks and then just use the left after that, still seems to be quite prevalent here. It's like, as I go into the corner, I have to crank both sticks over to the side to get the bike leant over at first, and then I can just rely on the bike's leading to get me around the corner. Basically, can I brake for this is the issue. Oh, I don't know if it's settings or if it's how I play, because obviously I don't spend much time on this game at all anymore. But that specific double into that right-hander, I don't know if I've ever managed to downside the double and brake in time and get the bike turned for the corner, where it all feels like a little bit stiff. Oh god, okay, I'm alive this time. Step up and over. So you have to be fit. Not sure what I could have done differently there. I feel like that's one of them where you can case it, but you should still be able to ride away from it. And you know, if I haven't got my controller overlay, but if I'm facing this way, if I press the triangle button, which would be Y on Xbox, when you're off the bike, it directs you to where the bike is. That's always been a thing, but I just don't know if anyone's ever really mentioned it before. And now trying to pick my bike up on a cliff is not ideal. Is there a way? I wonder if there's a way of like letting go of your bike as well. I can't even go to third person and show you what I'm doing now, because you only change camera once you're on the bike. There we go. So you can see, depending on where you crash, you could have an absolute nightmare on this, which again, I think it would be nice to have like a sprint feature or just a walk faster feature to get over to your bike quicker. Get up and over this. Oh god. Oh, that's scary when the front end disappears. On bikes, I don't mind when the front end disappears, because a lot of the time where I put in so many disgusting amount of hours, I know where the front end's going to be, but here I have no idea where the front end's going to end up. So yeah, take my time, nice and slow. It definitely feels like a game that you just want to play at a slightly slower pace just to get it right, which is just so different to everything else that's out there right now. Most other games is just speed, go as fast as you can everywhere. So it's definitely refreshing. I feel like it would suit enduro really, really well when it gets to a point where there's no like funky crashes and objects ride really, really nicely. Scrub this, or didn't mean to scrub that, single that hard. So yeah, get slotted into this rut. Get both sticks cranked over to the other side. Can get this double all the way up and over. Nice. Can I get... No, I can't get into that rut there. One thing that seems quite prevalent as well is a lot of time you haven't actually got to take the ruts. You can flat track, and as long as you're not lighting up the back end, you can still go pretty damn quick everywhere. But I mean, like sections like this, about 2 years ago when I was playing with Rum, you could just like grease every single jump on this section with not really much issue at all. And that's kind of what I liked. It still feels like a little bit stiff these days. I will say that in terms of overall just how the game rides, it feels a lot more consistent now than it used to. I've had a lot less funky stuff happen to me so far with just like weird crashes than I used to. Right, here we go. Let's get slotted into this rut. There we go. I mean, I didn't actually clear the double before it, but hit the rut nicely. Let's do a quick beeline over here, and we'll see how it rides on Supercross, since we're doing outdoors. I imagine it could be a little bit on the difficult side. Let's go yeet. That jump, where it was so steep, killed all of my momentum. Like I had so much speed to be able to get up and over that jump, but because I guess the jump was so steep, maybe it just didn't let me. And now you can see my shadow here. I'm just trying to get my bike up, but because I'm on like this massive slope, I have to wait for the bike all the way to go all the way down to the bottom of it. Come on, please get up. Please get up. Please get up. It should get up now. I'm on flat ground. There we go. Yeah. Oh, God damn it. Well then, let's see what outdoors entails. I remember I was able to do like full clean laps of this track before, playing with rum, so we'll see if it can translate over here. The only thing I'm curious about is how the bike's going to handle these bowl turns. Got a double, step on, step off, or you get a lot of wheel spin when you're trying to step off, just where you're on the power, trying to like lean forwards, keep the front end down. How's whoops? Whoops, absolutely fine. Whoops, no problem at all. Definitely, I told you, it feels similar to MESX, where if you just get off the back of the bike, it will the rear tyre will absorb everything. Can we brake in time for this rut? Almost. Little roller. Step on. Oh, I did not get the step off. I don't know if I'm going to get this jump now. Oh, stretch it. Yes, that was actually quite nice. I'm surprised. I thought I'd slide the back. Oh, no. Oh, don't remember that. Don't remember that. Don't remember that. Get on the brakes. Turn. Left. Oh, it's going to completely ruin this whole section for me now. I will say the mistakes on this game, so costly. It's really, really hard to get all that momentum and speed back going again. Luckily, that was a very, very short section that I messed up in. I'm getting the hang of it. It's almost like the turning is delayed a bit, because you have that initial getting the bike cranked over, and to be fair, you can go and change like your direct steering options, etc., to make things, I guess, more sensitive or less sensitive, and I think I'm just slap bang in the middle with like stock right now. But yeah, it's almost like it's a delayed turn. You got that maybe second or so where the bike is initially getting leant over, and then once it's leant over, you can then turn really, really tightly. So it's almost like you're preemptively turning into the corners, like you're turning really, really early before you get into it to set the bike up for it. Which again, something that muscle memory wise is going to take a long time to get used to. You'll see there, as soon as my back wheel started sliding, there was kind of no real saving it until you shut off the throttle and get throttle again. Even if you're just giving it like half throttle to try and let the bike sort itself out, or try and like bog it or be smooth. Once it starts sliding once, you basically have to shut off the throttle and then get on it again for the bike to stop spinning. You could shift up as many gears as you want, like as soon as you start sliding. If you bang up all the way into fifth, which obviously would make you bog quite a lot in real life, does not matter in here. It will still keep spinning for you. Right, slow over here. That's a lot more precise, a lot more patient. Didn't get over the dragon back too cleanly, but I didn't really have too much speed going into it where I went inside. Right, I'm going to slow down early for this 90. See what I mean? Like, it takes a long time to get that bike leant over. I reckon for the next time I do one of these, it might be worth me experimenting with my lean settings a little bit, because yeah, it does feel quite slow in getting the bike moved. So if there's any way I can make it more sensitive, that will definitely benefit me. It does feel, one thing that is quite nice compared to previous builds, like in the past, this even might be going back a couple, is if you do make a little mistake, my controller just rumbled so hard. If you do make a little mistake or you're kind of up a tiny bit short, it doesn't kill all of your momentum. There you go, just like that, like it used to. Like if your front wheel's going to make it over and you're kind of leaning forwards, ready to soak it up, your bike will still carry on moving forwards. So there's definitely a technique to it. There's definitely different methods to learn, which is the same with every single game, to be honest. You need to learn how to go fast in each one. But it's promising. It is promising. The in-air stuff's definitely better than the last build that I played. That pit bike is incredibly fun. So yeah, I'm excited as always, and who doesn't love a game where you don't have to run any pants, so you can just rock around on a bike in your underwear? Big W's all round. So that will wrap it up for me. There is my 1 to 2 monthly Trackdayr update. Devs, if you do watch the end, please can we make it so I can actually pick my bike up wherever it is? Because it's very, very frustrating when you crash and you have to sit waiting for like 20 seconds to get going again. And then also maybe be able to run to the bike. I just think there'll be good like quality of life updates for the game as well, but definitely heading in the right direction. Again, you love to see it. And that will do it for me. If you enjoyed, please do drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. It's always very much appreciated. Have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you're up to, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.
Lynn's in the zone, never backing down. Riding MX bikes, he's the talk of the town. 2022 champ with a YouTube crown. His game is tight, no signs of slowing down. Late nights, bright lights, he's chasing that fame in the digital arena. Writing his name, she's a 10 out of 10. Supporting his lane, hairline might receive, but his passion's the same.